Welcome students, this is your computer teacher and today we are going to continue from where we left off in the previous video. In the last video we had a little bit of introduction with Microsoft Excel and today we are going to do something practical, so without wasting much of your time, let's get straight to it. Welcome to my desktop screen and today, as I told you, we are going to do something practical. In the previous video we understood many things about the anatomy of MS Excel screen. Few of the things that were left in the video were the name box. This is the name box we are talking about. Let me zoom in and show you. This little box is known as the name box. Now what is the function of the name box? Name box displays the address of an active cell. Now what is an active cell? As I told you in the previous video, it is a cell which has a black boundary known as a cell pointer around it. Now if I click on this cell, you can see the value of the name box changes and it displays the current address of an active cell, which is D, column heading N3, row number. Similarly, if I enter something into it, whatever I have entered, it will be displayed by this bar, and this bar is known as the formula bar. And if I edit this cell, whatever changes I make into it, it will be displayed over here. But if I make changes in this formula bar, it will also be displayed inside the cell. For example, I have deleted all this and you can see simultaneously all the changes are being displayed within the cell. So these two things have very important role to play with when we are dealing with MS Excel worksheet. Now, another important thing right now is how to enter data within a worksheet. As I told you, our workbook, that is MS Excel workbook, has 3 worksheets by default. You can see at the bottom of the screen, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3. We can insert as many number of sheets by clicking on this icon, and the shortcut key is Shift plus F11. We can click on this and then we can insert the sheets, and we can toggle between the sheets using the click button. We can simply click on the sheet number and that particular sheet will open up. Let me just zoom it out a little to show you. If I have written something here and then it's in the sheet 1, I click on sheet 2 and there's a brand new sheet. It's just like a page of a notebook, a brand new page of a notebook, I should say. So I can also rename these sheets by right clicking on it and then clicking on rename. I can choose any name I want, for example demo sheet. I have given the name of the sheet as demo, and similarly I can rename all the other ones as per my desire. Now it's time for us to insert data into the worksheet. It's as simple as anything. We just need to click on the cell. You remember what cell is? It's the rectangular component within the worksheet. And we'll click on it and start typing from our keyboard. As simple as that. Just like that. And at the very top I want to add the heading, that is result. Oopsie. Result card. I'll type the names of the students here. For example, let me suppose write Ram, class 6th, marks 58. Sham, class 6th, marks 98. Ghansham, class 7th, marks 68. And whatever way you like, you can add your marks here. But you will see one irregularity right now, that this result card should be in the center. So what will I do is I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to drag it to the sideways. You can see the B, C, D column of row number 2 is selected. Now what I need to do is I need to combine these columns. So to do that, I am going to click on this home tab, and within the alignment group, let me just zoom in and show you. Home tab, alignment group, and there is an option called merge and center. When I click on it, you can see the entire cell is merged with no boundary at all, which means the three cells that are there are combined to form a single cell. And by clicking, let me just click on it, you can see the alignment is center alignment, which means it will keep the text within the center of the cell. Similarly, I can also combine the rows. I just need to select it and then go to home tab, alignment group, merge and center. You can see this has become one cell. 5 cells have combined to form a single large cell. This is a feature known as merge and center. Let me just undo it and let's continue that what kind of data can we enter in our Excel sheet. There are basically three kinds of data. First one is the numbers. As you can see, I have entered numbers in this sheet. This is the first kind of data that we can enter in a worksheet. It may also include some operators like plus, minus, multiply, percentage, etc. for mathematical functions. But how we can use that, we'll get to that later. Secondly is the names, or we can say that text. Text includes simple alphabetical characters along with some special characters like at the rate, hash, dollar, comma, full stop, semicolon, etc. Similarly, the third option, which is the major key point or the major point of interest in this Excel worksheet, is the formula. We can also insert formulas which will help us in return to do calculations, which is one of the key features of MS Excel. Now how can we do that? Let's understand it. Simply, if we want to add these marks, all I can do is the first rule, which is all the formulas will start from an equal to sign. If a formula does not have an equal to sign, it is not a formula. As simple as that. So the first rule of writing the formula is to insert an equal to sign. And then I have to type the range. Now what is range? When we select more than one cells at one point, that is called range. Now after pressing equal to, I'll type the address of the cell which contains the first number. For example, I want to add 58 with 98 and then 68 into the result of these. What I need to do is I have to enter this cell. I'll click on this cell and you can see it has automatically written down the address of it. Or we can even manually write it. D column and 4 row equal to sign D4 plus D5 plus D6. These are the three digits or the three numbers I will add. And I press enter key, you can see the sum or the calculation has been done by the Excel itself. The second method to do that is, let's just do it once more here. Again, the formula will start from equal to sign. We'll go with D4. And since this is continuous, I only need to mention the last number. And I'll press colon D6. Now what this will do is, the colon sign will include all the numbers that are in between the first cell and the last cell, where D4 is the first cell. Now this is what we known as an error, a value error. Now I have not, you can see within the formula bar it is showing equals to D4, D6. I have not told him to do any operation, whether subtract it or multiply it. I haven't told it so. So that's why it is showing an error. Now I will apply the function. I'll click on this formula bar and write down sum. Now sum stands for addition, and I'll apply brackets here, and I'll close the brackets here, and then I'll press enter and see we will get the same result. Now there are two ways. You just focus on this formula bar. When I click on this formula, it's simple: d4 plus d5 plus d6. In the second one, we have sum function. Sum, and this particular thing is known as range, which means collection of more than one cells. D4 being the first cell and D6 being the last cell, where the colon represents that all the other cells that will come in between these two cells will be included in the addition. Similarly, we can find out the average. How can we do that? It's simple. The formula starts again from equal to. The function for average is average, and then I'll start the brackets, and then again I'll mention the range. The range is D4 to D6, and I'll close the bracket. Sorry, it's from D4 to D6. I'll change that by going in the formula bar, changing it to D6 and pressing enter key. You can see it will show me the average, or we can also call it as percentage. As simple as that. Now, another way out, or a very simple way out, is, let me show you here. If I want to calculate average or sum, I simply need to do few things. I'll just click on it, and I'll go to formulas, and then there is these auto sum functions. When I click on it, it will show me few basic operations or basic functions that I can apply on the data. Sum will add those numbers. Average will find the average to that numbers. Count numbers will tell me how many cells that are containing numbers are selected, or it will simply count the number of cells which contain numbers. This will give me the maximum value in the range, and this function will give me the minimum value present in the range. Let's apply it. We'll click on average, and then it will ask me for the range. I'll simply select and drag it to the selected cells, or I should say to the desired cells. Click and drag the range and press enter key. The formula will be applied all by itself, and you just need to select the range. Similarly, if I want to find the maximum in these, let me just go to this cell. I'll go to again formula tab, function library group, AutoSum. I'll click on max, and then again I will select the range. Press enter key, and you can see it has shown me the maximum value. As simple as that. Now, one feature that I was particularly telling about during the first video was Excel worksheets are basically used for organizing the data. Now you can clearly see how very well organized the piece of data is. I can clearly demarcate or differentiate between the headings, like these are the headings, or even I can bold these by selecting this, going to home option, and applying the formatting functions that I want. Simply click on bold, and it will make the text a bit stronger, just like that. Now you can easily differentiate between the headings and the text. You can easily say these are the names, this is the class that we are talking about, and these are the marks. If I say write sum here, it will clearly identify the sum, and this will clearly identify the average. It's as simple and as clear as it can get. Now the last but not the least that we will do is, once we are done with everything, we need to save it. Now there are always two methods to save it. One is the keyboard shortcut method and the other one is by using the mouse. First of all, using the keyboard shortcuts, I will simply press Ctrl plus S from the keyboard, type the name, and the rest you all know. Other one is by going to the file menu, again very traditional, going to save. I will open up the save as dialog box just like that, and then choosing the place where we will be saving our files, and then giving the name. Here, let me just zoom in to tell you. And then I'll click on save button to save it. And this is it. Very traditional, almost just like every other MS Office package, just like MS Word and PowerPoint. Simple. So this is it from this video. I hope you all understood the concepts of MS Excel that were on display today. And until the next time, it's me, your computer teacher, signing off. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, stay healthy.